So, if you're a homeowner in Canada, listen up. You could be sitting on an absolute gold mine and not even know it. We're always told to hammer away at our mortgage, pay it off as fast as you can. But what if that's not the full picture? What if there's a smarter way? Let's get into a financial strategy that flips that old advice right on its head. All right, I'm going to throw a question out there that might sound, well, a little nuts at first. Is the goal of becoming debt-free actually bad advice? I mean, for decades, that's been the holy grail of personal finance, right? Get rid of all your debt. But maybe, just maybe, there's a more strategic way to handle the single biggest debt most of us will ever have.
And that leads us to this really powerful idea. The wealthiest people, especially those who own a lot of real estate, they don't always race to pay off their loans. Nope. They transform their debt into a tool that works for them. And today, we're going to break down exactly how they do it using a strategy that is 100% legal and compliant with the CRA here in Canada. To really get our heads around this, we first have to accept one fundamental concept. Not all debt is created equal. There is a huge difference between debt that holds you down and debt that can actually push you forward. Okay, so on one side, you've got bad debt. This is the easy stuff to spot, like credit card debt from a vacation or a car loan. But here's the shocker. Your primary mortgage, the one on the house you live in, it actually falls into this category too. Why? Well, think about it. Your home doesn't put any income in your pocket, so every single dollar of interest you pay the bank has to come from your after-tax salary, which makes it pretty inefficient. And this gets to the heart of the problem. A term you've got to know, non-deductible debt. Here in Canada, and this is a big difference from the US, you cannot deduct the interest you pay on your personal mortgage from your income taxes. That makes it your single biggest and often least productive financial burden. But then you've got the flip side, good debt, or what we can call tax-deductible debt. This is when you borrow money specifically to invest in something that can generate income for you. We're talking dividend-paying stocks, a rental property, you name it. The CRA actually lets you deduct the interest on these loans from your taxable income. This makes the borrowing cheaper and means this kind of debt has the potential to actually make you money.
Okay, so we've got this bad, non-deductible debt over here, and this good, tax-deductible debt over there. The big question is, can you, switch them? Can you turn one into the other? Well, the answer is yes. And that is the absolute core of this entire strategy. This is where the big mindset shift happens. Instead of looking at your mortgage as this 30-year-long battle that you just have to survive, you start looking at it as something you can convert piece by piece into a tool that works for you. You're not getting rid of the debt, not right away. You're changing its job description.
The best way to picture this is like a conveyor belt. Every time you make a mortgage payment, it splits into two parts, interest and principal. Now, that principal portion is the key. It pays down your bad mortgage debt. The strategy is to immediately grab that exact same amount of principal and reborrow it as good debt to go and invest. So you're literally taking a chunk of your mortgage off the bad side of the belt and moving it over to the good, tax-deductible side.
Now, this all sounds great in theory, but how does this actually work in the real world? I mean, you can't just call up your bank and do this with any old mortgage. You need a very specific kind of financial product that acts as the engine for this whole process.
See, with a normal standard mortgage, every dollar of principal you pay down is basically locked up. It's trapped inside your home's equity. If you want to get at it, you've got to sell the house or go through the whole painful process of refinancing. But with what's called a reborrowable or readvanceable mortgage, that equity becomes available to you instantly. Let's call this the seesaw effect to make it really simple. Imagine your mortgage is, say, $500,000. You make a payment, and $1,000 of that goes to the principal. Okay, so now your mortgage balance is down to $499,000. Simple enough. Now here's where the magic happens. With a reborrowable mortgage, the instant your mortgage balance drops by that $1,000, poof, your attached home equity line of credit, or HELOC, automatically jumps up by that exact same $1,000. That cash is sitting there, ready for you to borrow and invest, turning it into that potentially tax-deductible debt we talked about. This automatic, instant access, that's the engine that makes this entire strategy go.
So when you pull it all together, what are we really talking about here? It's a fundamental shift, a totally different way of looking at your home and your debt. It's about going from a purely defensive game of just paying stuff down to playing offense, to making your biggest asset finally start working for you.
Look, if you remember just one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. The goal isn't just to be debt-free. The goal is to be financially efficient. For the right person, that can mean transforming your largest liability into a productive asset.
Now, of course, I have to say, this involves investing, and investing always comes with risk. So it's definitely not for everybody, but it's a powerful idea to have in your financial toolkit.
It's a really powerful thought, isn't it? Your home isn't just a roof over your head. It's a financial engine, a potential gold mine of untapped capital. So the only real question left is, are you ready to rethink your strategy and start digging?
You know, for most of us, a mortgage is the biggest financial ball and chain we'll ever have to drag around. But what if you could actually unlock that chain and reforge it into a key? In this explainer, we're going to show you how to transform your single biggest liability into what could be your most powerful wealth-building tool. I mean, really think about it. Every single month, a huge chunk of your hard-earned money just goes right out the door to the bank. It really feels like a one-way street, doesn't it? Just this constant drain that sits there. It's a weight you're told you have to carry for, 25 or 30 years. But what if it didn't have to be that way?
This is the core idea we're really going to dig into today. We're talking about shifting our perspective completely. So, instead of seeing your mortgage as just the cost of living, we're going to start seeing it as a financial tool, a lever that you can actively pull to build wealth. It's a huge shift in thinking, so let's dive right into the mechanics. Okay, so the engine that drives this whole strategy is something we're calling the wealth-building flywheel. The best way to think about it is as a repeatable 6-step cycle that once you get it spinning, actually starts to build its own momentum. Let's break down exactly how it works.
All right, here's the play-by-play. Let's walk through this together. Step 1 is simple. You just make your regular mortgage payment like you always do. Part of that pays down your principal, and that builds your home equity. Step 2, as that equity grows, your available credit limit on a home equity line of credit, or a HELOC, it goes up by that same amount. Step 3, now you use that HELOC to borrow against your new equity, and you move those funds over to an investment account. Step 4, you take that borrowed money and you buy assets that are designed to generate income. Think dividend-paying stocks. Step 5, now this is the magic key. Because that loan was used for the purpose of generating income, the interest you're paying on the HELOC, it now becomes tax deductible. And finally, step 6, you take the tax refund you get from that deduction and you apply it straight back onto your mortgage principal. And that right there accelerates the entire system for the next go-around.
And that's the flywheel effect in action. See, this isn't some one-and-done trick. Each cycle actually powers the next one. That tax refund pays down the mortgage faster, which frees up more equity, which allows for a bigger investment, which then generates an even larger tax deduction next time. The system literally feeds itself, and it picks up speed over time. Now, a super important point here. For any of this to work, you absolutely have to play by the rules. Being able to deduct that interest is the linchpin of this entire strategy, and that means your investments have to be chosen very, very carefully to make sure you stay compliant with the tax authorities.
So this slide really gets to the core principle. The investment must have a reasonable expectation of generating income. That's the golden rule. It's why assets that produce cash flow, like dividend stocks, distributing ETFs, or even rental properties, are suitable. But assets that you buy hoping they just go up in price, like most cryptocurrencies or precious metals like gold, they don't qualify. You also can't do this inside registered accounts, like a TFSA or RSSP in Canada, or similar tax-advantaged accounts like a 401k or IRA in the US, because, well, they already come with their own tax benefits. Okay, so once you've really got the hang of that basic flywheel, you can take it to the next level. Let's look at how to turn this thing into a more advanced, self-sustaining system.
So what's the big prize for this advanced version? Well, the ultimate goal is to create a system that, once it's up and running, doesn't require any additional cash from your regular income to keep it going. It basically becomes its own self-contained wealth engine.
So how do you do that? It's through a technique called capitalizing the interest. Instead of you reaching into your bank account every month to pay the interest on the HELOC, you simply borrow a little bit more from the HELOC itself to cover that payment. This is what allows the system to run without you ever touching your day-to-day cash flow. And you might be wondering, is that allowed? The answer is yes. It's fully compliant with tax rules since that extra borrowed money is still directly tied to that income-generating investment.
All right, this all sounds incredibly powerful, and it is. But we absolutely must have a reality check here. This strategy uses leverage, and leverage is a double-edged sword. It is crucial, and I mean crucial, to understand the risks involved.
The first and biggest risk is leverage itself. Let's be crystal clear. If the stock market takes a nosedive and the value of your investments drops, your debt to the bank doesn't shrink with it. That loan balance stays exactly the same, which can be a very dangerous place to be if you're ever forced to sell at a loss. Risk number 2 is all about interest rates. Most HELOCs have variable rates, so if central banks start raising interest rates to fight inflation, the cost of your borrowing goes up right along with them. This can put a really serious strain on your cash flow and on the profitability of this entire system.
And finally, there's a risk that a lot of people just flat out forget about. A HELOC is a callable line of credit. What that means is the bank technically has the right to demand full repayment at any time for pretty much any reason. Now, it's not common, but it is a possibility you have to be prepared for.
So this brings us to what is honestly the hardest part of this whole thing. And it's not even about the numbers. It's psychological. Your total debt number on paper is going to look high, and that can be really unsettling. You have to train yourself to ignore that big, scary debt number and focus on only one thing, your net worth. You just have to ask yourself one question. Do my income-producing assets exceed my liabilities? If the answer is yes, then the system is working. Making that mental shift is, for many people, the toughest part of this entire strategy. Which, brings us all the way back to our starting point. We began by looking at a mortgage as this simple, heavy burden. But now we've walked through a detailed system for how you could transform it into an active, wealth-building tool.
Look, at the end of the day, this isn't a magic trick. It requires discipline, a long-term mindset, and a very sober understanding of the risks. So now that you've seen how it all works, the question is really yours to answer. Is your mortgage just a burden you have to carry, or is it a tool that you're ready to put to work?